our viewers. Welcome to the Entrepreneur TV show. My name is Lucy Jeffrey. I've enjoyed bringing you wonderful professionals here. We've been doing this for 4 years, simply because we decided to support the businesses, the business community, licensed professionals that we serve at the Entrepreneur Nation. And I would like to let you know that this show will not have continued this far without our sponsors. Our sponsors, as we all know, is the Entrepreneur Nation. The Entrepreneur Nation is a business development group. We are a referral network, and we found out that we attract and license professionals to our network. We've been, connecting them for the last 5 years, and so the Entrepreneur Nation decided to sponsor the show so we can support the community that we serve. But I want to clarify that everyone is welcome to be featured on this show. So if you see it and you want to connect with me, you are welcome to connect with me. Our next sponsor is Alex Valili. Alex Valili is a commercial litigation lawyer with Mackenzie Lake Lawyers. Alex has been part of the Entrepreneur Nation for almost 2 years, and he saw what we are doing. And because he supports businesses, he decided to actually sponsor this show. So in case your business is sued, or in case you need a commercial litigation lawyer, we highly recommend that you contact Alex or contact me, and I can connect you. Our guest today is someone who is going to talk to us about insurance, right? We only know about life insurance, but what can the insurance services do for us and do for you, business owners? And now today we want to talk to Matt. Matt is an insurance broker who was really a financial advisor, but decided to focus on helping business owners like you and I to be able to do much more with insurance, and we'll be able to talk to Matt when we turn the screen. Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Lucy?
I'm so happy to have you, Matt. You've really specialized in this area that I want our viewers to know about. Things that I did not know, and when I learned from you, I thought I need to know. But I want to ask you, Matt, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
hmm
Even when they come and talk to you about life insurance, they are talking about their life after death
Of
sometimes.
course.
So they
Yeah.
want to trust you. So with that said, then we want you to tell us a little bit more about you before you even got into business world, so people can build that trust with you.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm happy to do so. I'm a resident of Burlington, Ontario, and I have a couple of teenage kids, and I'm very active in my kids' lives, supporting their activities, supporting their educations as they finish up high school. I'm involved in the community here in Burlington. There's a fantastic Facebook group called the Burlington Dads, which primarily exists as a charitable organization to help the community, and I'm one of the administrators with that group. And I have a zest for life. That's one thing I'll definitely tell you, that I inherited a number of things from my parents. One was a love of cars, one was a love of rock music, and one was a love of baseball. And thankfully, my son has picked up on the baseball thing as well. So it's summertime right now, obviously, which means I'm playing on my softball team. I'm participating in the home run derbies, which I love. And my son, as I say, is a ball player here locally as well. So usually a summer evening will consist of either a softball game as a participant or a baseball game as a spectator. And it's just good times. My daughter, she's a competitive cheerleader, and she's incredible. Her team participated in an international competition earlier this year, in which they were the first from their club in Canada to actually make the finals. So I feel exceptionally grateful for everything I have going on in my life right now. It's based on my philosophy that you need to focus on giving in order to live your best life.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Really, we're happy to know you and to know your family life. I'm grateful to hear that. I wish I was in Burlington. I'll come and watch some of the games, but yeah, let us know.
It's a good
Excellent.
time.
So then, Matt, with that said, then I'm even happy to see that your dad, you learned a few things from your dad, and then you influenced your kids. And now
Mhm.
let's talk about you becoming an entrepreneur. How did you get into entrepreneurship? Who influenced you to do that?
Right. Well, I've been lucky enough to have aligned myself with a couple of great mentors over the course of my career. I started out in the investment side rather than the insurance side. And I was, when I started my career in my early 20s, so I would partner myself up with a senior investment advisor, and I would learn the business. I would learn about the capital markets, and I moved a couple of times, moved city a couple of times, and also moved investment brokerages a couple of times. And most recently in that business was the early 2010s. I think it was 2012 through 2016. I was working as an associate advisor to a great investment advisor. His job was to go gather new assets, and my job was to manage the money. And I really enjoyed that job, and I really learned a lot from that investment advisor as far as being a business person, being an independent business person, and how to have a meeting with a client. It was great. And over the course of the latter stages of my tenure in that office, it became apparent to the office that life insurance was really underutilized as an investment, in particular for the incorporated independent business owner. So in 2016, I decided, as far as carrying on building my career, it was time for me to work for myself rather than work for someone else. So I went out on my own and started at RBC Insurance as a field sales advisor at that company. I did that until 2020. And I was fortunate enough in the early stages of everything jumping off in the world with COVID that I met a new independent insurance advisor who looked at me, liked what he saw, and petitioned me to come do things his way in the independent insurance advisor circuit. And I did that. I followed the path that he laid out precisely, and it has worked out tremendously well for me. I have a lot more avenues, a lot more opportunities available to me, a lot more partnerships that are in the process of coming to fruition now, as they have been for the last 3 years. It's been absolutely dazzling. As a matter of fact, things have worked out a lot better than I set out for myself when I went independent 3 years ago.
Wonderful, Matt. We are so happy to hear that. And we are going to dig deeper in that and learn more of what you found out and why you decided to specialize in
Sure.
insurance. But I want to ask you then, with that said, having done, like, we have all the, personal life that you have said, having been an investment advisor, now insurance advisor, what motivates you? What makes you wake up every day? And I know life insurance or insurance, you're talking to people sometimes about after death, right?
Sure.
What
Yeah,
motivates you to wake up every day and say, do something and work with your clients?
absolutely. Well, I know that I can help everyone. I have a very diverse, vast client base, which involves younger folks. We might have the 20-something couple who have just gotten married or just bought their first home, and they're having a hard look at their budget with the interest rates and mortgage rates the way they are now. And that's one end of the equation. The other end of the equation is the 50 to 60-year-old couple who have a long-standing family business, and they need to look at creating some tax relief for when they pass on their incorporated family business to the next generation. In either case, as I said, I know that I can help these people. I can make them feel better about their finances, their budget, their estate taxes, or what have you. As one example, there's a lot of use of creditor insurance. When someone takes out a mortgage, their creditor will give them the opportunity to sign up for the creditor insurance, meaning if that person passes away, then the mortgage will be paid. Now, that's great. I love the idea of getting that risk taken off the table. But the problem is the creditor insurance is very inefficient from a premium perspective. And it's not particularly well known in the marketplace that a term life insurance policy will simply do a better job. You'll have as good or better coverage in place, and the premium will be lower. And the reason that is because when you take out an independent term life insurance policy, the insurance carrier is having a very specific look at you as you apply. So they can see this is a healthy person. Okay, we can cover this person for a low premium. And when I present that to those people that are, looking at their mortgages, looking at their budgets, and I show them that we can slash 40 to 50% of their budget on that insurance item, it's a relief. They think, wow, okay, that's $100 a month that I thought I was going to be sending over here, that now it can be over here. And just witnessing the satisfaction and witnessing the relief is something that I take a lot of pleasure in. And on the other end, there's those 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, maybe 70-year-olds who are looking at how to get that family succession plan into place for their family business. Maybe they started something 30 years ago at a valuation of zero, and now it's 2023, and the valuation of the company is into the millions or tens of millions of dollars. How do we get that value into their 20, 30, 40-year-old children's hands without losing 50 to 70% of it to tax? We can do that too. And when I show that couple, here's what we do using a company-owned life insurance policy that will distribute your company's valuation to the next generation in a very tax efficient way. That's a huge relief to these folks as well. And everything else in between. So I've got the young couple who need help with their budget, and I've got the elder couple who's passing on a family business. It's the same emotion. I witnessed the same thing, the people going, oh, thank heavens I've spoken to you, Matt, and now we do this way. And I just derive a lot of pleasure from it.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for helping them. And you know what? Like, if somebody doesn't sit down and go into all these details with people, that
Mm-hmm.
may not happen. But I'm happy that you have specialized in that area. Then, what do you think, without really bashing people or saying bad things about people, what do
Mm-hmm.
you think about the investment advisors who combine with insurance? It seems like it's one area is so huge and the other area is so huge. Financial services is so huge.
It
Do
is,
you
yes.
think that they are able to actually dig deep? Because like no one has ever talked to me about what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just talk to the on the surface and leave all the other things that people need to know. Do you think they're able to combine the entire financial services?
Absolutely. A lot of what I do is actually in partnership with investment advisors. Now, as earlier in my career, I worked with investment advisors and I was an associate advisor. So I have that sort of boots on the ground experience with it. I know how to speak their language. I know the jargon. I know what's important. And I know how to partner with them to cover off the life insurance end. So when you have an investment advisor who does a great job of dispersing their clients' wealth into various capital markets and private placements so that their investments do well over time, there's a lot more going on for that person than just that, doing that job. They're managing a business, they're managing staff, they have to be compliant with their regulator, they have to look after payroll and information technology and all these sorts of things. So that really critical part, the life insurance end as an investment in their portfolio, that's why they need the specialist like myself who only does that to look after that end of the things.
Wonderful. That's good to know, really, Matt, that it's important for people to work with others so they can be
Mm-hmm.
able to share and be able to offer great service. And I'm happy that you partner with the investment advisors so that you are really not their competitor. You are
Right.
complementing what they do. You are helping them to do the job better. And I'm hoping that all the investment advisors will be able to watch this and
Yeah.
reach out to you and say, how can you help me to serve my clients better?
Right. Yeah.
You know, I
Another
think Matt, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Another great point to make is the use of an insurance consultant, such as myself, by an investment advisor, is an elective process, and it can happen on any basis that the investment advisor chooses. So, if there's an advisor who does have their life insurance license themselves, but doesn't have the current acumen, knows the insurance carrier industry in Canada today, who has the best product for this, who has the best underwriting results for that, as well as the current day's electronic application process, an investment advisor can talk to their client about insurance, set up what the policy will look like, and simply use myself to get the application done and carried through underwriting. That's very common. And the investment advisor can engage me in terms of having me meet with their client to figure out what the policy will be. And
Awesome.
both are very common, and the investment advisors like the flexibility to be able to engage my services to any extent that they wish that works for them.
I didn't like that. You know what? You have positioned yourself so well that everybody may want to work with you because they won't see you as a competitor. I like that idea. But Matt, because of what you deal with, I wanted us at this minute to bring some light and some laughter to
Okay.
what you do. I wanted to ask you, I heard you talk about a situation at the place of work
Hmm.
that you want to share a light moment with our viewers. Would you
Sure.
like to
Yeah.
remind us what it was that has
Yes,
nothing to do
there
with
was a
insurance?
very memorable day earlier in my career when 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 you work at a large institution, and you'll have various email distribution lists. So you'll have your business unit, or maybe something regional, something within your particular office, and then there's the more larger ones, the global ones, and the company wide distribution lists. And basically, anybody has the capability to select any one of them and send an email. So there was one particular day when an individual unwittingly sent an email to the entire company, about 7,000 employees, where they only really intended to just send it to their own, of course, particular business unit. And so everyone in the company got this email. And what followed for about the next 2 hours was a lot of people replying all saying, "Hey, sorry, I don't think this was intended for me. So I just wanted to make sure you get that email to the right person." So that's an altruistic thing to do. That's a good thing to do, to make sure the email gets where it's supposed to go. But we didn't need to be replying all to doing that. And that went on for a while. And everyone's inbox was going with emails. And then it transitioned from the "sorry, this email isn't for me" to people replying all saying "stop replying all." And that went on for 2 hours as well. And now everyone in the entire company's inbox was being inundated with these angry emails, all capital letters with exclamation point following it, "stop replying all." And then the email system either crashed or it was halted, and it was down for a period of time. And then finally, late in the afternoon, email came back up and everything had been completely wiped. Everything was gone. If someone wanted to reply all, they couldn't. And that was a memorable day. Not a very productive day, but a good, memorable day.
Awesome. I wanted our viewers to see that in entrepreneurship, we also have some light moment that we stop
Hmm.
and laugh. And so, of course, learning about reply all emails. I know that sometimes when people click on the phone to reply, they don't take time to, select the option of just reply to the sender. You don't have to
Right.
reply all.
Right.
I remember that working in the banking sector myself, replying all was not recommended. You could actually be called by your supervisor to be asked, why did you reply all?
Hmm.
Because you should only be replying to the sender. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's what makes the day great
Yeah.
in entrepreneurship, and there are so many other examples. But now I want us to dig deeper
Hmm.
into the client that you serve and really focusing on both individuals and businesses. I know you look at businesses more.
Yeah.
What's in it for the incorporated businesses to work with you, Matt?
That's a great question. Now, as we've alluded to, these incorporated family businesses, they have these inherent tax problems that are baked in to the situation, that it's always best to get out in front of this and do some tax and estate planning before it's kind of too late and you've gotten too old, and maybe people are passing away and they've not even looked at how to transition their company. Now, the problem mainly is that when someone starts their own business and incorporates it, now we've started at a valuation of zero, because not a single sale has been made yet, and we don't have any inventory yet, no customers yet. But then things get going, the business grows, and those private company shares that have been assigned to your corporation that you own, over time, as your business grows and your sale grows, revenue grows, equipment grows, and things like this, now those private company shares will have a high valuation corresponding with the value of your company. And you might also have net tangible assets. You might have a retained earnings investment account. You might own a few buildings. You might have equipment, or whatever the case is. Now, those net tangible assets also contribute to taxation of your company. So if we have an elderly couple in their 60s, 70s, what have you, that want to fold the valuation of their company down to their now adult children when they pass away, if they do so without doing any tax planning, then the tax rate on transferring those shares can be upwards of 70%. And that's just way too much for us to lose to taxation of the hard work and sacrifice and risk taking to start a company like that. So the life insurance, what it does is it presents a conduit that the valuation and wealth of that family business can then transfer from that primary generation to the next generation without losing this much to tax and distressing the sale and putting a big cash crunch at the worst possible time. So it's an underutilized process. It doesn't really have its day in the sun in the marketplace, and that's primarily why in 2016, when I went out on my own, I chose insurance over investments myself, because I just saw this tremendous opportunity to start working on awareness of this great thing that a family business can do.
Awesome. Matt, I think everyone would want to be your client. I don't know how much you even be able to do. You might have to build a team and teach people exactly what you know, but
Good with
that's really
that.
great and deep. But with that said, then I wanted to ask you, when do you see the future of your business going? Are you going to build a team? What are you looking
Hmm.
at? And are you serving people all over Canada or just in Ontario? Please tell us a little bit more.
For sure, yes. Well, in the last couple of years, after having gone independent, I have expanded my operations all across Canada. As a matter of fact, I do practice in British Columbia, Alberta, the prairies. I practice down east, as well as, of course, here in Ontario. So, with the way things are in this age of video meetings and the age of electronic signature, both are prolific in every kind of marketplace. I have conducted business in British Columbia as well as Newfoundland, sitting here in Burlington, Ontario. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. And my plans do include to do a lot more spreading of the awareness of getting term life insurance in place to cover mortgages. And I have a couple of youngsters that I'm eyeing right now. As a matter of fact, one recent graduate as well as one in their late teens who's going to look for something to do pretty soon to do some mentoring, to do some partnerships, and to really ramp up and scale up the operations with the company. And it's a really exciting time, just for the simple fact that everyone's used to doing video meetings now and signing things electronically now. It works out really well.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. I really look forward to that expansion, and I'm always very excited when I see businesses expanding like that.
Hmm.
So, what is your philosophy towards business? I know you have learned all this, you have expanded, you have
Yeah.
worked for people, you work for yourself. What's your philosophy towards business?
My philosophy is to focus on giving. I have a saying that I'm telling my kids all the time. And no matter how many times I have said it, I'm going to keep saying it. And that philosophy is, if you focus on taking from this world, then this world will focus on taking from you. And if you focus on giving to this world, then this world will focus on giving to you. So, which are you going to do? And of course, the obvious answer is focus on giving. So the way I operate my business is I always focus on the client's best interest, and I'll find a solution that works best for them. And if after having a conversation with someone, I find that life insurance just simply doesn't fit, and I'll tell them, here's what you need to do. It doesn't involve life insurance. Therefore, everybody knows I've made no money if no life insurance sale takes place. But if I've provided some kind of advice or given them an idea that they can proceed for which they'll be better, fantastic. I'm happy. I will have given. I will have done my job. And I'm also very charitable, as I mentioned earlier, in the community. I support various organizations such as the local women's shelter and food bank through my independent activities, as well as through more organized group activities that I'm a part of. So the example that I'm setting for my kids, and the example that I'm going to be setting for my junior insurance consultants that I'm starting to work with, is do the best for your client, do what's in their interest, and things will work out for you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. That's really great. But I wanted us to focus on, I know you have sent, I didn't like how you're such a role model for your kids, and every parent is, but I feel like you're focusing on that. And I want us to do that because there will be very many parents watching. So, what is your advice to the next generation? And the next generation from could be your kids' age, or
Yeah.
slightly older than your kids' age, or slightly younger. So, what's your advice to them?
My advice would be a couple of things. One would be to make sure you're doing something that you're passionate about, that makes you happy, that makes you excited to get out of bed and go do it that particular day. And another bit of advice I would have would be to, of course, doing all of the focusing on giving. But one thing that I don't think gets too much credence is the need for persistence and grit. Really, there is no course in high school or university that teaches grit, and it's a really important thing. There's no course that teaches persistence. So if you want to be really successful, if you want to reach the stage in your professional as well as personal life that you've got a great balance, that you can do the recreational things that you want to do, you have the time, you have the resources, as well as spending your days doing whatever that thing is that lights your fire as well, that also puts food on the table. The way you can achieve that is through persistence and being gritty, making sure, no matter what happens, I'm going to carry on. No matter what happens, I'm going to keep going. And because, life is not perfect for everyone. Everyone's going to have the odd storm cloud show up in their life. And when that happens, stick to your guns, keep doing what you're doing. It's the right thing, and good things happen.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. I really like how you're giving advice and actually dealing with insurance and dealing with families and how they will transition their wealth. I really like how you're focusing on everything, including and giving that advice. But now I want to focus on you as a member of the Entrepreneur Nation. I
Mhm.
remember when I reached out to you, Matt, I think on Facebook or LinkedIn, there's an investment advisor in the chapter
Yep.
in Burlington, and you send Lucy, please tell him that I'm willing to work with him. Just
Mhm.
that was good enough. I go to the investment advisor and say, Matt is willing to work with you because we want people to be able to work together. You have been a great contributor for our chapter. You have even invited your friends to join the network. I appreciate you so much. Would you like to tell us a little bit how it has worked for you and where you see your future at the Entrepreneur Nation?
Sure. Well, I absolutely love the group. This group in Burlington, Ontario. It's a lovely group of people who are always in a good mood, and everyone gives each other time to talk and time to share their views, which is fantastic. And I love the fact that with this particular group, I learn something every time I'm there. If someone's making a presentation, then I'll get to learn about the ins and outs of that particular industry, something I wouldn't have known before, and something that I could probably, you know, put into my own life and make use of that information myself. It's great to have that educational aspect, and we get these conversations going over lunch where people are talking about current affairs and politics, and we get a whole bunch of different points of view, and everyone comes out of the meeting inspired, feeling like they know more than they did when they went in, and I love that. And of course, there is the referral element of it as well, which is great. I've got a number of people in the group that I've been in talks with about starting more formalized partnerships. And if not for this group, that wouldn't be happening. So I'm extremely grateful for that. It's a fantastic group, and I love being a part of it.
Awesome, Matt. We love having you here. I really like it. Even when we had the Mix and Mingle the cocktail
Mhm.
event in Burlington, you
Yep.
came out, you're always there. And that presence is what makes others know that you're serious. And that's what will make them want to work with you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for that. So, our viewers, we are coming to an end of this show. We're happy to have Matt, and we'll definitely be happy to bring him back in case of anything that comes up. Thank you so much for watching.